Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's webinar. My name is Morten Ronde, and I'm the managing partner at Nordic Legal, and I'm so delighted to see so many of you joining us today. We have more than 200 people signed up for this seminar, so it just shows the interest. We're here to discuss one of the most important developments in the Nordic gambling landscape in many years, the opening of the Finnish gambling market. Finland is moving from a long-standing monopoly system towards a licensing-based model, and that shift has serious implications for the state, for operators, for everyone involved. Our aim here today is to help you to make sense of that transition, what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means in practice. We've had actually hoped by today that the new law would already have been adopted by the Finnish Parliament. But as many of you will know, the process is taking just a little bit longer, as it always does. And the final adoption is expected within the coming days. However, the picture is very clear. We have almost all the details of the new framework, and we are in a position to walk you through the main features and also to share the latest developments as they emerge. We've brought together a strong group of speakers today representing the political side, the industry, specialist advisors and consultants, and of course our own team in Nordic Legal. So over the course of the webinar, you will hear from people who are directly involved in shaping, interpreting, and preparing for the new Finnish regime. With that, let's get started. It's my pleasure to hand over to our first keynote speaker, who is the member of Parliament, the Finnish Parliament, Mr. Sinuhe Wallinheimo. Sinuhe, I hope you are here. If so, the floor is yours.
Okay, do you hear me?
I do hear you, yes.
Okay, do you see my picture? So can you see my picture too, or
yes?
How does it
work?
Okay, perfect.
It's good.
Okay, well, first of all, it's an honor to be here. I think I spoke with you guys last time like 1.5 years ago, so we have taken many steps forward, but I have to say that there may be still some minor adjustments for government's proposal, but the overall structure and intent of the legislation will be it will remain unchanged. The law is shaping up to be more enabling than many expected. That's good, which puts us in a, I would say, strong position going forward. In the administration committee that it's handling right now, there has been some discussion about whether affiliates should be permitted, but that question remains open for now. Another unresolved issue is the overall timetable, especially the exact date when the market will be officially open. My expectations is that the law will be finalized within a few weeks, meaning that the legislative timetable should remain on track. The current plan is for the new law to enter into force on January 1st, 26, and the license applications can be likely submitted shortly after the law takes effect. There is, however, some concerns regarding the early phase of implementation. During the first year, the police board will be responsible for enforcing the law, but on the very same day that the market is intended to open, supervisory duties will be shifted to the new licensing and supervisory agency. How smoothly this transition is managed will determine the exact opening date for the markets. Regarding the B2B licenses and the timetable, we should have a clear picture in the coming weeks, and the remaining questions are resolved. Well, finally, I want to acknowledge that some of you may feel frustrated if the markets open slightly later than expected. I have actually even heard some criticism directed to some politicians. But the important is to keep the bigger picture in mind. Without the strong work of some of the MPs and the leadership, for example, in my party, the law would not be as enabling as it is right now. And we also have to look ahead. It is essential that the next government does not amend this law in ways that would restrict your ability to operate. This is why the next governmental term will be critically important for your industry and its future in Finland. This is pretty much what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Sinuhe. You covered very, very important issues already. You have been very deeply involved in this process, and you're one of the architects of the new legislation. You already referred to the question regarding affiliates. If we are not going deeper into those details, how do you feel about the other contents? We have read. I think all of us is quite familiar with the government proposal. Is the big picture still the same as in March when the government proposal was taken to Parliament?
It is. I assure that it is, but the timetable is actually the only problem right now. And due to the facts that I actually already mentioned, there is some problems with the next elections too. And to be honest with you, there has been some questions about the marketing or actually the advertising and how it will affect people before the next elections. And we saw it in Sweden, for example. There was a lot of advertising, and actually because the next elections are so close, and if the people get angry about the advertising, it might actually become an issue to the next governmental program, and that's not what, for example, you guys want or even I want. So we have to be very careful with that.
Okay, thank you very much. So, of course, the industry, we have to see. Industry has to look far enough, and the opening is a very positive thing. So, at this time, what would be your guess about the time of the market opening?
I'm such a bad guesser, but
or your bet?
Well, it might be 1st of January 27, but it might be also after the election, which means that, okay, the election's in early April, then there's this governmental program, which takes maybe 1 month, 2 months. So I don't think it would be a good idea to open up the markets during that time. So then it would be maybe 1st of June or July or something like that. But the big thing is that we don't do mistakes that the foresight would be much worse if there is some kind of mistakes done during that time.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was an honor to have you here. If you have time to follow the discussion, I guess it will be, I'm sure it will be interesting, but it was a pleasure and honor to have you here. Thank you very much.
No problem, Pekka. No problem.
And thank you indeed. That was very interesting. The next speaker we have today is the CEO of the Finnish Trade Association, and let me see if I can say it correctly this time. Rahapeliala. It's Mika Kuismanen. Mika, are you ready to do your presentation?
I'm ready. Thank you, and thanks for the host. And I think your pronunciation was superb, the best I ever heard. And I'll try to share my screen. So is this fine?
Yes,
More.
I see it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the invitation, and I put my clock because Pekka and Morten said that I have exactly 15 minutes time, so I will keep on it. So to tell about market opening and industry expectations. The market opening, we just heard Sinu has said something about it, and I will come back to that in my last slide. And then industry expectations. Of course, the title is relatively broad, and probably industry have a heterogeneous expectations, but I'll try to cover at least some of that. So what is Rahapeliala? Rahapeliala is a Finnish trade association, and we have now 9 members, Flutter, Entain, William Hill, Bet365, FDJ United, Betson, Leo Vegas, Come On, and Kaizen Gaming. So I think we are relatively well represented by the B2C operators. If in a big picture we think that what are really the key objective of online gambling regulation, I think we can identify at least these 6 issues. And the reason why I'm raising these 6 issues is that when you look at these: consumer protection, prevention of crime, tackling illegal gambling, tax collection, fair and competitive market, and market oversight and compliance, and from that onwards, what will be the channeling rate in Finland. And of course, we want that the channeling rate will be as high as possible. So then we go into the law and look the substance of it and see if these 6 points will be fulfilled by the law or the law proposal we will now have in hand, and what is in the process, what is in the parliamentary process at the moment. So I think it's fair to say that the proposed legislation largely meets the industry's expectations. Comparing to other jurisdictions and comparing the general trend, what's going on in gambling markets, and especially the kind of law changes on due. As Sinu had already said, that the law proposal is relatively liberal. The strengths of it is clearly that it's alignment with other Nordic models, such as Sweden and Denmark. Why is that good? It is simply good because the society is not exactly similar, but we remind each others, and on average or in general, the legal framework is relatively close to each other, and that kind of gives us a good comparison what has happened in Denmark and what has happened in Sweden. The good thing is that all product verticals for an OBG market and license categories, B2C and B2B, that's a very good thing. There is a balanced regulation for marketing channels and sponsorships. It allows marketing in widely. It allows sponsorships in widely. There are some asymmetries between marketing channels and marketing procedures between the competitive part of the industry and then the monopoly part. But I think those kind of differences between these two markets are not too big. There's a sensible bonus system. Of course, the industry weighted and would have liked to have it more kind of luxurious and more giving, but that's a political fact that, or I would say, I would rephrase that. I think it was a good political fight from us that we got a sensible bonus system into the law. So retention bonuses are allowed for existing customers. There are robust verge requirements, monitoring systems, duty of care, self-exclusion, and mandatory player set deposit limits. You can always criticize that if self-exclusion is a good thing or a bad thing, and can you circumvent it, and how you can do that. But anyway, I think it's non-thinkable that we would have a system which wouldn't have a self-exclusion system. There is no maximum loss limits in law, but those can be set by government statute. And this is a critical issue. It's good that it requires a government statute, and it's not required, and it can only be set by the Ministry of Interior. There's an acceptable tax rate, 22%. I think that will support generalization and market viability. Saying a few words about taxation. It is, I would say, more or less clear that in a few years' time after the market opening, there will be a heavy burden to raise the tax rate. This kind of tax rate will fall into the same category as there is in Finland is an alcohol tax or tobacco tax, or anyway the tax in an industries or products which not clearly but still produce negative externalities. And my guess is that we will see every autumn in the budget negotiation times that this tax rate is under threat to be risen. So that's something I think we just simply cannot avoid. What are then, from industry point of view, the risk and challenges? Okay, the generalization risk, it's a risk in all jurisdictions, in all places. But one thing I think the law is a bit missing. It bit miss the regulator tool to look how the market dynamism is developing and how to protect licensed companies from unlicensed companies. This is a big topic in all countries, but personally I think that there could have been a bit more tools in the law to regulate and overlook for the black market. In some sense, there might be a bit of overregulation. The proposed legislation grants extensive mandate for secondary regulations, and there are unclear limits and preparation processes, so which at least at this moment create a uncertainty for the operators. Technically, integration challenges, I would say that this wasn't done with a very fine way, and there are some monopolistic elements there, and I'm pretty sure that this needs to be revisited in the future. I already said about tax, the risk of future increased, then unlicensed operators. How, again, and a bit repeating myself, the regulated market, how it will be supported and encouraged in this framework. So the resources must be allocated to target and prioritize how we actually prevent unlicensed operators to operate in Finland. What Sinuhe also mentioned, I think it's clear that there will be a big public perception. I think someone is online at the moment, but still, I'm pretty sure that there will be a potential backlash when the market opens. Either it opens before the general elections or whenever it opens. We are so used to the monopoly marketing that how much and wherever a current monopoly company is advertising, people don't recognize it. But when there comes a few first advertisement for foreign companies, there are certain part of the society which will raise their voice against gambling and gambling marketing. And then the risk, moderate marketing, what it means, and what it means in different channels. It might be the case that we need to solve these kind of moderate marketing issues in a marketing court or administration court. We probably need a definitions, more clear definitions from the court. Then the market will open, but when? As Sinu has said, I think it's fair to say that the substance of the law is not under a political threat. And I think it's also fair to say that acceptance of the law is not under threat. But when the market will be open, then that is under threat. So don't want too much to replicate what Sinu had already said, but I think we need to be prepared to that the license applications probably won't start at the 1st of January 26. As far as I know, the National Police Board most likely need 2 months' time to prepare to take the applications. So 2 months after the law's been accepted in the parliament. Then the big question about market opening day, it is pretty clear that the political situation from the government and probably from the biggest government party is the one that there is a political, they think it's a political risk to open the market before the general elections because of this public perception risk. And this, you can actually conclude that this is a political decision not related to the process in itself, because the administration, Ministry of Finance and others have said that they are ready to open the markets in the proposed time. And in proposed time, I mean the 1st of January 27. So one can conclude that if the market will be opened after the general elections, the reason is very much political for it. But in my baseline scenario, that's the most likely scenario, and we should be prepared for that. I think I used my time, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mika. I hope you will stay to the end because we have some questions from the audience. I just have one question. So now there's a discussion about the time frames and the concern about too much advertising before the election. But there's another concern, which is that the channelization in Finland is so low now. I saw a number down to sort of mid-20s, which means that the consumers are not, placing the gambling in Finland. Isn't that a consumer protection issue? And shouldn't that be a bigger concern than the other?
That's very true. If you take the competitive verticals, the channelization rate is very low, and I totally agree that should be on top of the agenda, but that's just a political reality. In politics, in politicians, in many MPs and politicians' utility function, there is only one thing: to be re-elected, and that really dominates for many rational issues which should be taken into account. But unfortunately, for example, the thing you, Morten, mentioned is not on the top of the agenda.
Okay, thank you very much, Mika. That means we will now be turning to Pekka Ilmivalta, who is the Nordic Legal partner and who is heading up our Finnish office. Pekka, you want to see if you can share your presentation?
Well, I'm asking for help from the office. Dominika, if you can share the slides, I will just say a couple of words. So good afternoon from Helsinki. My name is Pekka Ilmivalta, as Morten said. I have been heading the Nordic Legal Finnish office for about 15 months. I'm an attorney at law, and I have worked previously 17 years for the Finnish national gaming monopoly company Veikkaus. So I have quite a lot of years behind me in the industry. But I wonder if you can share. For some reason, I'm not managing to share my slides.
Yes, I'm trying, but it tells me that I have no access. 1 second.
Can you see it now, Pekka?
No, I can't. But if you can see, so I can go forwards, and I have a few slides. Some of them which I will go through fast. And I will, Michelle, Dominika, I will let you know when to change the slide. Okay, just shortly about the current situation. Don't go too much into history, but we have a current legislation from 2001 with monopoly Veikkaus, who has been operating. Still, the Finnish consumers can freely use other online operators, and those operators can accept Finnish customers. Right now, Mika already covered some of the situation right now, and Morten referred to very low channelization rates. But what has happened during the past years, in 2017, that's the year when the current system started with only one operator. The profit to the Finnish state was over 1.2 billion euros for 2017, and for last year it was about 575 million euros. So quite a decrease in the profit to the Finnish state. So that's one of the biggest reasons that we are now in front heading to the situation to have the new legislation. So how it's moving forwards, we already heard from Sinuhe Wallinheimo and from Mika about the timetables, and there are a couple of questions mark. But what we are right now expecting is as we heard, the Parliament to approve the legislation, and the gambling license process will open. Well, we heard from Mika that it could take 2 months after the approval. So if it's not the 1st of January, then it could be the 1st of February when the license application process will open. The regulator has stated that the operators should reserve 6 to 9 months for the process. And there was speculation about the license market opening. I would, based on what I know right now, I would bet on the summer of 27 would be the date for that. And then we will have the B2B license process application process opening in January 27, and the B2B requirement in 28. So to next slide. So executive summary of what is going to what the new legislation is going to look like. So sports betting, also horse betting, virtual betting, digital casinos, digital slots, and also digital bingo will be under the license from 27 onwards. 5 years is the maximum length of the license with 22% tax, and so we already covered the license application. Then we have the monopoly market for lotteries, scratch cards, and physical slots and physical one casino we have in Finland with the same gambling tax. And then the software license, B2B license requirement from 28 forwards. There are some details about the annual fees for the license, gambling license as a software license. In B2B license, it's just nominal, and for the B2C, it's depending on the GGR, varying from 4,000 euros to 434,000 euros annually. Then a couple of words about the licensing procedure. First of all, the license application must be submitted in Finnish or Swedish, which are the two official languages in Finland. There has been some discussion, and I have been asked how should it be done, in which of the languages should it be done. And my first idea was that if there are only one or two Swedish applications, then it could be good. But now that I've understood that there will be several Swedish applications, and also some other experts' opinion is turning that if possible, do it in Finnish, because in the National Police Board there are much more, I would say almost all those with the Finnish mother tongue, and not too many with the Swedish one. So the National Police Board will be dealing with the applications in 26. There's a requirement of reliability and suitability, looking into the decision makers and the UBO's criminal background, financial situation, and of course, if an applicant has been dealing with the National Police Board and has been ordered prohibition based on the current legislation, there's a 2-year ban for that, and so if that has taken place after September 24, then there's a 2 years ban for applying or getting the license. In the license application process, there will be needed information about ownership, management, financial situation of the company. There will be needed documents describing the planned gambling activities, planned marketing activities. There will be need for information regarding software suppliers, so B2B. There will be requirement for clarifying procedures and personnel for handling different matters, disputes, complaints, client assistance, and so on, and also AML obligations. And there's no need for an establishment here in Finland, but if the operator is domiciled outside the European Economic Area, there must be a representative domiciled in the European EEA. Couple of some information about the execution, what it's going to be in practice. Of course, players need to be 18. They need to have a permanent residency here in Finland. That's made quite easy here. Just one click, and you can check if a person is residing here. Credit cards will not be allowed. There are some things that betting cannot be organized on. gambling system basically must locate in Finland, but it's okay if they are outside, if the authorities can have access to verify the reliability of the systems, and maybe we'll hear later some more about the technical requirements. But all gambling information must be provided to the regulator. About marketing, shortly, moderate marketing, that's the statement in the law right now. It is clear that no influencers are allowed, no welcome bonuses is allowed, but as we heard from the MP, the use of affiliates, it's still under debate. It could be possible that affiliates were after all allowed in the Finnish system, but that's maybe the last issue in the law, really, content issue that is still open. For the bonuses, retention bonuses are allowed on certain terms. Brand and product marketing is widely possible, and as well as sponsorship. So brand visibility and also title sponsoring, it will be possible under the new law. And then responsible gambling, that's one of the KPIs also under this process. Players must be able to prevent all licensed gambling, as in many jurisdictions. Each operator needs to have self-exclusion tools for players, and also a requirement for personal money transfer limits for each operator. But then there is a possibility that in the law that by the government's decree, the loss limits can be set, and also by the ministry's decree, some requirements for games, for example, maximum bets, maximum winnings can be set for certain types of games. And of course, a duty of care for the operators to continuously monitor gambling behavior, and also take action if needed. So the last slide, just to sum up, this seems to be the timeline. The technical requirements we are expecting, and we are waiting for them to be notified to EU. And from what I've heard is that we should have them this year. But I've been going and checking it daily if they are notified, but not so far. Otherwise, the license application process will start in January and February, and the market to open in 27. And my prediction, as I said, is in summer 27. But otherwise, it seems quite clear, and it seems quite clear that the next parliament will also come back to this issue, evaluate the new regulation and the new market, and then propose changes if needed. Thank you very much, and sorry for the technical problems.
Thank you, Pekka. And very interesting perspectives indeed. We will now turn to our collaboration partners who are also in the so-called Finnish consortium. And we'll start with Mr. Niklas Bondestam from UBTech. And perhaps, Niklas, you can present yourself a bit more than I just did now. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and having us. What can you see in the screen now? I don't know. Anyway, I have been working with this. I'll try to put my presentation on. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, nice, good. So I'm Niklas Bundestam, and I have been working with the regulation in Finland for the past about 20 years. And we formed a new company last spring called Ubitech to help with what Mika said, technical integration challenges. I think that's very accurate to put with supervisory system. So we are part of the Optimed PLC group, and as Morten said, member of the Gaming in Finland consortium. 20 years of experience in Finland with a Finnish system. And what we want to do is help with the technical regulation and compliance with suppliers and operators coming to Finland. With pre-compliance checks before go live, and also with post-go live testing and system when the systems are evolving. I come back to that after next slide. And we will have a vault safe solution, and on top of that, we'll put some data quality checks to spot report issues in reporting early. And I also come back to that in the next slide, why I think that's important. So Pekka asked me for a few examples of upcoming technical requirements for the gaming in Finland. Not much has been released this far, as we all probably know. We know that data should be signed within 1 minute using the regulator's signing service. And data should be stored in a vault for at least 5 years. This is all from legislation. But no, the 1 minute is not from the legislation, and that can also change maybe to something like 5 minutes, but quite often anyway. And in the legislation, we can read that all gaming data is required. Now, exactly in what format and so on, that's then again up to the technical standards that I also, as Pekka said, I hope also that they will come by the end of the year. And maybe, I don't know, something that is not required everywhere at least is the wallet or account data, from the player. So that's a new thing, might be a new thing technically for a challenge. Also, the data will have to include, this is also actually just a educated guess, but game data on for example, on what platform it was played. This is for research specific purposes. The new legislation allows the regulator to...
Good afternoon. I have a meeting with Pontus Lindvall, please.
Okay. Yeah, so the regulator will be allowed to forward the data on to research for research purposes. So that's also new in Finland. But for that purpose, they might want to have some details of the gaming. And as a technical thing, and that comes back to the previous slide, the regulator in Finland is very used to check and monitor data daily. So the systems have to be working all the time. I don't know if this is monopolistic or not, but that's how it has been working, and I think it will continue. So any hiccups in the systems will be spotted very, very soon and addressed early. That's why I think it's important for everyone to have a system in place that checks data and checks everything, that everything is working before changes go online, before basically before anything goes online. And in the last case, if something has gone online and still there are configuration mistakes, we hope to spot those mistakes when the data comes to the vault. This is a short presentation. If you need any more information, just email Juusa, taking care of sales or info@ubictech and schedule a meeting, or visit us and our partners at ICE, stand SG19, if I'm not totally wrong. That's all for me. Kiitos in Finnish, and thank you.
Well, thank you, Niklas, very much. Very interesting. We will rush on to Jari Vahanen from Finnish Gaming Consultants.
Okay, thanks a lot there, Morten. So I will have the same challenge as the other ones before me, but hopefully I succeeded a little better. So hopefully you will see my screen now. So I'm from the Finnish Gambling Consultants. We have helped dozens of operators and suppliers globally improve their gambling businesses. And nowadays we are mainly focused on our home market here in Finland, because we know this market, of course, really well, thanks to our long experience working mainly at Veikkaus, the monopoly operator. So I have prepared just 2 content slides to outline the most important factors to consider here in Finland from a business planning perspective. Although, as Mika already mentioned, our legislation will be quite similar to Swedish one, but it's not copy-paste from there. So we will have some differences between these 2 countries, and the Swedish operating model may not work well here in Finland, so you need local expertise. I think that the first content slide has been went through by Mika and Pekka, but I pick a few points from the bill and probably the new law. So exclusive licenses, lottery and physical casino business, and it seems to be quite sure that the current monopoly operator Veikkaus will get both of those 2 licenses. Then there will be gambling license, and that process will start early next year. So application process is supposed to start already in January, but probably it will take 1 month more, and that covers all other gambling verticals. So fixed odds betting, pool-based betting, digital bingo, digital casino games, including cards, dice, and slot games. And it's good to know that betting includes both sports and horse betting. And then we will have a special feature that the betting will be also allowed on retail channel. If any of the license holders would like to establish or sales on retail channel, that would be possible, but betting only. Then B2C license holders are allowed to use only gambling technology from B2B license holders, but that requirement will be valid just from the beginning of 28. And as far as we know, B2B license application process will start early 2027 when we will have a new regulator. So current regulator will continue until the end of 26, and then the new one will start from the beginning of 27. Then it's my personal opinion, but I'm quite skeptic about our regulators' capability to prevent black market activities, because according to Bill, they won't have so many tools to act against black market operators. So no payment blocking, no IP blocking, so almost at all any tools. So that's one risk what we might have. Marketing will be quite open in mass media. Sponsorship will be possible. So lots of marketing opportunities in mass media, but lots of restrictions in the digital medias. And then affiliate marketing, as we already heard, it might be prohibited, but at least influencer marketing won't be allowed. So we will know those details in next few weeks. Then customers have to set their deposit limits for each operators they will have account. So no maximum limit for deposits, but they have to set it before they can start gambling or betting. No credit cards, no cryptos at all, no welcome bonuses, no free games or reduced price games. But you are allowed to give bonuses to your existing customers. I don't know what means existing customers. Is it enough if a customer has been there 1 hour or 1 week or 1 month? But anyhow, that will be possible. But those bonuses are not allowed to based on volume or activity time, how much the customer has spent there. So it says in the bill that all customers should have equal opportunity to get those bonuses. So those bonuses won't be similar what you are used to use in other countries. And then other slide I have listed some special features, some basic information about Finnish gambling market. So operators can keep the existing Finnish customers, and currently monopoly operator, my former company Veikkaus, has over 2.6 million registered customers. And then we have some other operators like Betson, Unibet, Buff, who have some 100,000 of existing customers, active customers, so they can keep those customers. And at the same time, some operators should start from scratch. So it's quite challenging for newcomers without any Finnish customers, but that's good to know. Then I'm quite sure that you know that Finns are playing a lot, gamble a lot. It has been common habit here in Finland. So according to national level surveys, around 70% of Finns, adults, gamble sometimes. And then it's also good to know that especially lottery has extremely good reputation. It has been common habit to play lotto here in Finland. But also sports betting, especially pool-based sports games, have also good reputation. So that's good to know. And when I said that we gamble a lot, just one number, the annual GGR per adult is around 420 euros. So it's quite a lot. We used to be number 3 country in the world gambling per capita. Nowadays, I don't know what our ranking is, but I'm quite sure that we are among top 10 countries in the world. But that's not whole story. So quite small group of active customers bring big part of the GGR. So that's my own estimation that 2% of players bring around 50% of GGR. So it's extremely important for your business try to catch that group of customers, because then you will succeed extremely well if you will get them. Digital casino business is fast growing area here as it is in all over Europe at least. But then we have one special feature also in digital casino business, because the most popular games are developed by Finnish companies, mainly by Veikkaus, the monopoly operator's own game studio. And the reason why those games are so popular here is those slot machines Veikkaus has all over the country, because they have same games in those slot machines. And when they have had around 20,000 of those machines all over the country, nowadays less than 10,000, but anyhow, lots of them. So they have effective marketing channel for those games. So Finns are used to play those games. And that will be the case also in the future, because Veikkaus will keep the exclusive license for physical casino business, including those slot machines, and they can have the same games there, and also same games in digital casino, which is under competition. So that's also good to know. Then one last speciality here in Finland, it's almost the same situation in Sweden and Norway, that pool-based sports games and horse bet games are more popular than fixed odds betting here. So our customers are used to play pool-based games, not so much fixed odds betting. Although fixed odds betting, they know it well, but still pool-based games are important business area here in Finland. And then last comment is about the retail network. So importance of that is decreasing. The business is moving to digital channels, but there mobile is dominating. So Finns are used to use mobiles for everything, also for gambling. So mobile first would be the best solution for your digital business here in Finland. So that was my short presentation, and if you have any further questions, you can contact me. And as Niklas mentioned, we will have common booth there at ICE. So please come to visit us there.
Thank you so much, Jari. Again, very, very interesting, and I'm sure you can take questions after. I just want to say that there's a lot of questions coming in the chat. We'll try to respond at least to some of them in the end. But now we will turn to Igara and the women from the consultancy Igara. I don't know who is here, who is doing the presentation.
Yeah, and I'll be doing the presentation, Morten.
Thank you.
So thank you all, and thank you, Morten, for having us. I'm Jessica Meyer, and I'm the co-founder of Igara, Executive Gaming and Risk Advisory. And we thought we'd start today with something that Finland is very well known for, and strangely, upon a closer look, might offer sort of an easy way to remember some of the things that we've already heard a lot about. So we won't be going into too much detail again, but maybe just as a slightly odd reminder, a helper, let's say, of some of the key aspects. And that actually is the Finland sauna culture. So when you enter a sauna, you might see a sign like this, and it will have very clear rules around behaviors, what to do, what not to do. I feel in our assessment, we've seen that the regulations also have been straightforward and clear so far. We also expect this from the technical requirements that we're all waiting for to see, to take the next steps here. But with these clear rules will also come clear expectations, and with that also enforcement risks. which takes me to risk management. Again, to use the sauna metaphor, some sort of risk assessment might be taking place when you go into a sauna. You might want to assess, well, one, you need to know yourself quite well, I think. Then you need to know, maybe develop some strategies around how to make that visit successful for you. Sit in a certain place or not to sit in a certain place, how to best manage the heat, all of these things. For a market entrant, there are similar considerations, and really risk assessments around the market should happen as soon as possible. And why is that? Because the expectations I mentioned, we will see these developments come in quick and very clearly. So identifying early what is the hard lines, the red lines of what not to do, and also, though, and more importantly, what you can do to make the most of the opportunities of the market will be super important. The last point, saunas will be are a lot about controlled environment and moderation. And with moderation is, of course, a theme, specifically in the marketing and advertising context. Limits will be relevant in an RG context. So these will be things that we'll be seeing in the upcoming regulation. Now, I'll take you out of the sauna. We can all put our clothes back on, and I will tell you a bit about Egara and what we do there. So Egara, we come with more than 20 years of experience in the industry. I've worked internally and externally for different size companies, working for B2C operators, B2B, and also lottery providers. We've had a lot of exposure in different jurisdictions where we've led market entry programs, and also we've held C-level positions, which saw us manage and work and align with many different areas across management and product, security, IP, commercial, regulatory, across the board. Where actually in our day-to-day work with our clients, we see often see some shortcomings and frictions, because alignment often is lacking, and application process can be often quite isolated from then the actual operational follow-through. We believe that over the time we've developed some tried and tested methods to limit those kind of frictions. And also by having worked across different jurisdictions in Europe and outside of Europe, we understand many different jurisdiction requirements and know how to ensure that market entry can have the minimum negative impact and optimal commercial value, by also looking across markets and working on this alignment across business units. In a risk management context, this cross-department expertise that we have has seen us work with major land-based and online operators to perform enterprise-wide risk assessments, so really across all different departments. But we also regularly do risk assessments specific to certain areas or business units like AML, data, IP, compliance, you name it. In an M&A context where we're quite active and have developed a special expertise, we're mainly sought after because of our C-level operational experience and the global perspective that we bring. For example, when analyzing traffic risk exposure or implementing strategies, globally bringing different local advice together and helping implement the strategies that we advise to take, which is something that sets us apart because we go into the team's hands-on and implement our advice. Finally, another area that we work in is government affairs, where we work with governments and regulators. Of course, we've worked with them in the context of holding licenses ourselves, but we now also do research and provide evidence-based information, comparing different jurisdictions, what has worked, what has not worked. Earlier, we heard about some of the factors that benefit or harm a channelization rate. These kind of aspects and other research is what we provide to governments and regulators to inform policy decisions. In Finland specifically, and in the Finnish context, we see ourselves as a kind of bridge, while our partners at Nordic Legal will secure your license, and then technical partners will handle safe and testing like Obertech, or will have you'll have help on the business plan side. Those aspects all will come together, and we would form in this construct the operational compliance part, which would both be in the preparation, so ensuring the market readiness, but then also the ongoing compliance operationally. So our services can be used as a coordination of different parties, internally and externally, of course. And we would be looking at Finland, but also in the context of your wider business, considering other licenses you hold. Now, why do we think this is important? We've heard already Denmark, Sweden, and the Nordic countries in general share certain similarities as with Finland, as it would be looking like. So these similarities can be used, and common aspects, they can be used as opportunities to limit complexities and the cost of compliance. Finland also is an EU member, where we're seeing more and more harmonization and rules affecting all member states. So this also, like thinking AI, accessibility, privacy, and also AML is becoming a more directly harmonized area where the rules will directly apply. And this, again, lends itself to finding common aspects and using that to your advantage. On this slide, we put together a few examples where you can see some of the services we offer. And you can see that basically an end-to-end from the preparation steps to the support prior and post-launch, we can get involved. The very first step, as soon as basically the technical requirements are there, what we recommend is doing a gap analysis. This is something we can do for you. And the goal is to identify the differences from the current systems you have in place, and also looking again at the different markets you operate in to find common ground, a common baseline, and also the differences to then ensure full compliance specifically for Finland. This will be an advantage to get these things started early and assessed early, so that then following up steps like the technical certification steps, etc., can happen quickly and smoothly, so that whenever the market opens, we obviously don't have the specific date 100% yet, that everything is in place and ready to go. There will also be risk assessment, as I mentioned earlier in my sauna. The transitional phase, there will be certain aspects to consider, and of course, close monitoring of the developments that are happening will be very important. We can help set up the supplier and customer onboarding and ongoing monitoring processes. We believe this will be important, considering some of the aspects around, the scrutiny that would be around affiliates, etc. So having a robust risk management framework around the handling and dealing with partners will be important, and to navigate the marketing limitations potentially, but also looking for the opportunities in that. We can help with building strategies around it. In the actual preparation for then the launch, we sort of can get operationally involved and essentially project manage the market entry, coordinating with different partners and your internal teams. And the way we work is either that we support or we can also take on specific roles within your teams, be that for responsible gaming or compliance roles in general. Also certain AML roles might be possible to be outsourced. There are some question marks around MLRO outsourcing, but other roles we can take on. So that really depends on what is needed. And our advice and the follow-through is very operationally focused. So we'll also look at things like actually the technical certification and translating rules into how does this need to look like, how does this need to work, user-facing, and on the product side. Training is also part of what we do, and that can essentially happen at any stage in this. And the ongoing compliance can also be supported by health checks, for example, or as performing audits, helping with reporting, these kind of things. So this is supposed to give you a bit of an insight of this. And what we aim to achieve with this is a quick market entry, helping to accelerate that, being ready, and not just ready in terms of everything has been submitted and ready for license granting, but it actually will work long term to build operational resilience and also to reduce frictions and costs on the business by making compliance help support these strategies. So that's us. And thank you very much for listening. And I'll hand back to Nordic Legal and Morten.
Thank you very much, Jessica. If you can, yes, thank you very much. Here we are. So before we go to questions, and I will try not to hold too long before we get there, I'd like to use just a couple of minutes to explain something practical, how we at Nordic Legal approach the Finnish market entry, and why that approach tends to work well for operators who already know us from elsewhere in the Nordics. Our way of supporting in Finland is really an extension of the way we supported many of you in Denmark and in Sweden. Those markets have shaped our routines, our expectations, and the way we prepare applications. And because the Finnish model, as we see, draws quite heavily on the same systems, much of what we already learned over the past years can be applied directly in Finland. So when our clients move from Denmark or Sweden into Finland, we don't start from a blank page. We already work with most of the operators and suppliers in the Danish and the Swedish markets. And in many cases, we know your corporate structure, your technical setup, your game portfolio, and how your previous license process was handled, including the documents that we prepared together. And that familiarity matters not because it looks impressive, but because it let us move faster and avoid you having to explain your business all over again. And in Finland, what we suggest is that you keep the same contact in Nordic Legal as you've been working with in Sweden and in Denmark. They will remain involved in the licensing process and work alongside the Helsinki team. There will be to no cost for you. It's simply what we think is the most efficient way to carry on that existing knowledge. Also, having spent so many years in actually interacting with regulators in Denmark and Sweden, we have a good sense of the types of questions that come up, the level of detail that typically is expected, and the points where interpretation can vary. As Finland builds up its new authority, that experience helps us prepare the clients well, not because we know everything in advance, but because we've been through this kind of transition before. We know where to add context, which documents usually need strengthening, and how we present information in a way that avoids the unnecessary back and forth between us and the regulator. And I'll leave it to my partner, Maria, to explain a bit more.
Well, thank you, Morten. Those of you who know me, which is, I see quite a few of you, know that I can't attend a webinar like this without being allowed to say something. So I will just keep it brief, but then I promise we will go to your questions. So I think Morten already explained that what we will aim to do in Finland is to combine our experience from Denmark and Sweden in the licensing process and combine it with our Finnish local expertise, which will be provided by Pekka and our associate there, Richard. And I think the practical method of how we would go about it very much reflects what we have done already in Denmark and Sweden. So have a good preparation, everything we can know, we will know, but we will also make sure that we anticipate questions and that we follow up proactively on what we notice from the regulator, what do regulators normally want, keep our sensors out in Finland, what does the local regulator want, and combine that to make sure that our clients' license applications are as complete as possible and that the process is as smooth as possible for you guys. And that you keep your current contact from Sweden and Denmark together with our Finnish office should mean that it should feel like home for you. It shouldn't feel like stepping into a completely new universe. It will more or less be a continuity of what we're already doing for you today. So you shouldn't have to explain your organization from scratch. To the extent we can, we will use the documents you have already provided and we've worked with in the past to carry it over into Finland as well. The people that will be guiding you and helping you are people you already know. The regulatory process should hopefully become more predictable for you. And as I've said, you'll both get regional expertise and local insights from our combined team. So yeah, just in conclusion, we are very much looking forward to the Finnish market opening, whenever that may be, and to be working with you again in these licensing processes. Finland is the next step, and well, we feel at least that it's a natural continuation of the work we've done together already. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. So we're getting to the end, but we have a few questions that we'll see if we can cover. And I'm sorry if we go a couple of minutes above the limit, but I think it's important to get to the questions. Serafino is asking, when can we expect to get more information on the new versions of the RTS to be notified to EU? Not talking about the existing ones drafted last summer, but by the Ministry of Interior. So the new versions. Do we have any information about that? I am now asking, I guess, Pekka and Mika, if we know if there are new versions to be notified to the European Commission.
Yeah, if I start, the expectation is that they should be there at any time. So I think Niklas also referred that they should be there during this year. So that's why I'm going to Tris daily and check if they are already there.
Okay, thank you very much. This is also a question, I guess, to you, Pekka, from Magdalena. It was mentioned that retention bonuses are allowed or permitted for existing customers. Does that mean that welcome bonuses will not be allowed?
Yes, that's what it means. So for existing customers, bonuses and certain kind of gifts, so to say, that's possible. But there are rules. For example, it has to be equal for everyone, irrespective of the gambling history.
Okay, thank you very much. And then there was some, there seems to be some confusion about the B2B applications. And I think, again, Pekka, you can help here. When will the B2B suppliers be able to start their application, and when will they be getting the licenses, everything, if everything is according to plan?
Yeah, I guess I was too swift on that. So the B2B, so the game and game suppliers, platform suppliers, they can start applying for the license in the beginning of 27. And the requirement for the operators to use only suppliers with the license is starting in the beginning of 28. So 1st of January, as it seems right now, 1st of January 28, the operators with the license can use only suppliers with the B2B license, and vice versa. To be able to have a B2B license and operate here, they can only operate with those with the B2C license as of 28.
Thank you so much for clarifying this. We have a question from Marlin. I think it's to you, Niklas, perhaps, if you can assist. Will there be a similar technical setup as in Denmark in terms of safe and tamper token?
And the short answer is yes. I think this was originally copied. The idea was copied from Denmark, but it will be like 10 years newer technically. So there will be a similar system.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a question from Martha. I think the question is, will the license application, will they need executed supplier contract submission? So will you need to submit the contracted suppliers when you submit the B2C application? I guess the question could be that some B2C operators, they will apply for a license without having the game suppliers in place. Is that a problem? Pekka, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. That's they have to disclose the partners, the suppliers they have at the moment when they apply for the license, and then there are certain kind of reporting obligations also for the future. So of course there will be changes, but no. But the names and the details of the suppliers, no contracts as it seems right now.
Then there is a question from Alexandra. She's asking about corporations who both supply B2C and B2B operations. Can they get an umbrella license for both services, or do they need to apply for different multiple licenses? That's how I understand the question. I hope I understand it correctly.
Okay, so yeah, those are two different licenses. So if you are both the operator and supplier, you need two licenses, and also, but maybe one thing that didn't come up in this presentation is that's for the operators and also for the suppliers, you can do that under one license. So basically, you can operate betting, iCasino under one license. You can operate several brands under one license. So for that, you don't need to have two licenses, but you need to have two licenses if you are both a supplier and the operator.
Yeah. There are some questions about repeating things that were said here. I want to say that this webinar will be shared with you, so you can see it again if there are details that you missed. Perhaps the last question here is, and I think it was in your presentation, Pekka, is there an application fee set for applying for a license? And then, but that's another question. Is there a company capital requirement?
Yeah, there is an application fee. The amount we don't know. It will be there in the budgetary laws shortly. I guess 3rd of December is the date for that, but it is, to my understanding, quite nominal. So that is not a major fee for the application process. And for the capital requirements, as it is right now in the law and the requirements, there is no set amount of capital for the operators, but they will look at the overall picture of the financial situation and the capabilities of operating.
Thank you very much. I think that's it. If you have more questions, you're welcome to send it to the people who are participating in the seminar or the webinar. I am very pleased that I hope you stayed on to the very end. Sorry that we went a couple of minutes above. I hope to see you all in Barcelona, and have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys. Thank you.